tubing, going tubing, taking the inner tubes down to the water and jumping in and floating away with your best friend. What do you think about that idea? What? You thought I was going to do another winter card? What? You thought I was going to do another Christmas card? Well, yes, I'm doing Christmas cards, but I live in Florida. This could easily be a Christmas card. Maybe that's the gift. Maybe the gift is, hey, for Christmas, I'm going to take you tubing. And we're going to go down to the river, and we're going to bring our inner tubes, and we're just going to let the water take us where it goes. And it's going to be 25 degrees in New York, or negative 10 degrees in Wisconsin. But it's going to be 85 degrees here in Florida. And guess what we're going to do while you're on your sleds and your sleigh rides and wearing your warm winter clothing? We're going to be in our bathing suits. And we're going to be tubing and swimming. And we're going to send you photos of it. And we're going to make you say, I need to get to Florida. Well, the truth is, when you live here, you miss the snow. I know if you're living up north, you don't believe that. But trust me, you do. And so I love both worlds. The world of Florida, where I live now, and the world of New York, where I once lived. Robin lived in Wisconsin, and it sounds like winters there were glorious, were beautiful. I can't wait to see it for myself one day. But for today, I just wanted to take a break from the snow landscapes and the Christmas feel. And I wanted to bring it here to Florida, where, I was going to say where we go tubing. I haven't gone tubing in so long, but when I was younger, I went tubing all the time. So did Robin. We got to get out and do that again. Why are we letting our age stop us from doing something that was so fun? Well, maybe that's a wake-up call, right? Maybe the card is telling me, go have some fun. You may not look as good in that bathing suit anymore as you once did, but who cares? Who cares? All right, that's enough. Let me show you how I painted this. This one took a long time. The reason it took a long time is because of those two people. I took my time making sure that I got them looking as good as I could. I feel like I could have done better. And in fact, my overall review of this painting is that it's not really art. It's really an illustration. It's a fine line for me to separate art from illustration. And I feel like most of the things I do fall on the side of the line that is illustration. I really do. I've looked at some of your work on the Poppa Paints Facebook group or page, whatever you call that. And you guys are artists. Robin is an artist. You guys create beautiful things. I don't know that I don't create beautiful things. I think some of them are beautiful, but I think they're more illustrations. They are replications of things that exist in the real world, like tubing, or like, a snow-covered tree. But you could do that as an artist also. So maybe there's a debate to be had here. Maybe I'll lose the debate. But anyway, I'm carrying on about nothing. It doesn't really matter. Let's just have some fun. Let me show you how I painted this right now. All right, today I'm using this set of paint. It's My Lang. I probably am mispronouncing that, I don't know. And when I first received this as a gift, and thank you for the gift, I did these little swatches so that I would know what the color looks like when I actually use it. Although I usually mix colors with other colors. So, and I gave myself a little bit of a challenge today. I've been doing Christmas cards. If you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Thank you for watching. I have settled in on doing full-length videos. I've had feedback both ways, to do time lapse and also to do real time. And I think I kind of like the real time ones because, as a viewer myself, I'm not just a YouTuber, as you say. I'm not just that guy. I'm also the guy who watches videos. So, as a watcher myself, I find that when there is a long video that becomes maybe a little bit too long, I just zoom through it. I guess we all do that. And I look for the parts that I enjoy watching, or the parts that tell me what I need to know, or answer some questions I might have. So anyway, so I've been doing Christmas and winter cards, and I just want to take a break from that today. I want to do a summer card, or maybe better put, a Florida card, because the scene I'm painting, well, it could be any place really, but the scene I'm painting is swimming, and more specifically tubing. I hope I get it right. See, if you saw the intro video, you know exactly how I got it, but I don't know yet. I don't know how I'm going to do with this. I hope I get it right. So, and I'm sketching with the paint itself, not with pencil or colored pencil, which is also something I do. But it's a little bit of a challenge here, a little bit. Just sketching it out, and I'm using orange as the skin tone for these two young people. It just works, I think, with watercolor, especially if you water it down and then come back and darken the shadows. Doesn't always work, by the way, but hopefully it'll work this time. And I'm doing the people first and the background later, because the background is darker than them, and that way, if I do make a mistake, I can go back over it with the dark and get it, make it right. Hopefully, hopefully. It's always hopefully. It's always something I'm unsure about. I'm never sure about anything I paint. I think if you're painting a large painting, you really have to be sure, because you don't want to mess it up. But see, these little tiny cards, I have thrown away a few because I didn't like them. But most of the cards I do, I keep, and I give them away. And again, if you're new, what I had been doing in the beginning of doing these cards was giving them away just to people I knew. And, but wait, let me rephrase that. I gave them away to people I knew or people who I heard about. The church that I go to has a list of people who are sick, or for some reason just needing a little pick-me-up, a little something to make them happy. And so it was the pastor's idea to send cards to people who were under the weather and needing a little extra support, a little something that tells them people are thinking about them, And so when I heard about his idea to send cards, I was already painting cards, and I thought, well, I could send hand-painted cards. And the people who got the cards loved them so much, and they reported back to the church that, hey, somebody sent me some hand-painted cards. And anyway, they tracked it down to me, and they loved them. They kept asking me for them. So now, as we get close to the end of the year, the church is having an art auction, and they will be raising money for a youth thing that the kids are doing in Texas. I live in Florida. The church is here in Florida, and so yeah, this is to help raise money for that. And when I first started doing this, when I first started telling people that I was doing this, I thought, well, I think I'm raising it for the less fortunate in our community, because I really didn't know what the fundraiser was for. Nobody really told me. And then I made the mistake of assuming that it was for people in need. It turned out it was for the youth, which those are also, to be honest with you, they're not rich kids from rich families, so to go on an outing like that does require a little bit of fundraising from everybody. So I'm not a guy that has a lot of money, but I do have a lot of cards. So I thought, well, I'll just give the cards to the church and see if they can raise money with it. So I'm just one of many artists who will be donating cards to the church. And, well, I say cards, I mean art. I'm probably the only one doing cards, but I don't know. You never know. Maybe there are other artists donating cards. So we'll see. And that's not till November 23rd, which it's now October 27th, so... And I've got almost 200. I'm not sure what number I'm up to yet. I think I passed 180 yesterday, I think. But again, I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. So these are two young people doing something that I have loved doing in my day. I don't want to say I won't do it again, but you never know. It seems like I may have become too old to do this kind of stuff. But what they're doing is they're tubing. They're taking inner tubes down a river somewhere, or maybe in a lake. In this case, I'm not sure where they are. But here in this part of Florida, we go tubing, or the kids go tubing, or I used to go tubing. Robin and I would go down the river. And as a kid, I would do it as a kid. And then when I got to be a dad, I would of course do it with my son. And now he does it. And I really haven't done it in a long time. So, hopefully this picture comes out all right. I think the hardest part, the thing I'm going to have to work the hardest on, is the two people. That just seems to be what's probably going to be the case here. The two young people getting ready to go in the water. It's just something fun about swimming. Yeah, I should go swimming more often. This lake looks like it comes all the way down here. They make them look like they're having fun. Gosh, the river here that I went tubing in the most. Wait a minute, let me refresh. I don't think I ever went tubing in any other river. I've gone swimming in the other rivers around here, but I don't think I went tubing anywhere else. But here, and in the Rainbow River, it's called the Rainbow River. It's a beautiful river. I even worked, when I was 17, I worked at the headwaters of the Rainbow River, which is called Rainbow Springs. Yeah, guess what my job was? My job was to fill the vending machines. Isn't that funny? Yeah, they had vending machines there. It was a tourist attraction at that time. I suppose it still is, but now it's a theme park. So there we go. Now these two kids are holding tubes, inner tubes. So I got to make sure I get that expressed correctly in there. All right. I got to let them dry before I do anything. But that's basically the outline of the two kids. I guess I could add some dark underneath them for the dock that they're on. I guess I can start to do that. And then over here there's the big post that holds it up. Yeah, my favorite place to swim was always the Rainbow River. That was my favorite place of all. When I was a little guy, much in the single digits, like 9 and well, maybe 10. That's a double digit, but I used to vacation in Florida. I lived in New York and I vacationed in Florida. My grandparents lived here. And my vacations were not big, like 2 weeks long. And my grandparents, because they lived in the area, they would take us swimming. And the place we would go swimming was the Rainbow River. And we didn't know it was called the Rainbow River, though. I didn't. We just called it the name of the town, which is Denellen. Denellen. And then years later, when I was 17, my parents decided to move to Denellen. My father was a policeman, and yeah, we moved out of New York. It was a big deal for me. It's always a big deal when you're a teenager and you move away. But so much of my life wouldn't be in my life if I hadn't ever moved. I guess I would have had a different life. I probably still would have pursued art in some form, because I was doing art as a young man in New York too. I was trying different things. I was seduced by music, though. Music was probably more important to me than art at that age. There was a recording artist named Patty. I don't know if her name was Smythe or Smith. I can't. There were two artists at that time named Patty Smith, but one of them pronounced it Smythe, I guess, to separate herself from the other one. And the one I'm thinking of, was kind of more of an artist than a rocker artist, if you know what I mean. She had more of an artist persona. And she once said that when she was on, do you remember the Mike Douglas show? She was on the Mike Douglas show, and let's try and get this. I think these kids are darker than the... I think the little doctor on is darker on the background, so I'll put a little line there just to indicate that. A sketchy line. So Patty Smythe or Smith had said to Mike Douglas that he knew that she was also an artist, and she said she will reserve her art for when she gets older, because she can do music as a young person and then art as an older person. And I kind of embraced that idea that I would kind of hold on to my art. And I didn't completely, because I always did art, but for the most part I've been doing art more now that I'm older than I did when I was younger. So I kind of followed her lead a little bit with that. But if nothing else, I think of her when I talk about my own life path and all that. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here. We'll get this shadow here, and then we'll put the kids' shadows in there. Not shadows, I mean reflections. There we go. I gotta wait for them to dry before I do anything else with them. I make a little bit of a shadow color there. Put some shadows around them. Just a little bit of orange and blue mixed together, just to kill both colors and make that the shadow color. So lately, you get older and you go to the doctors a lot. Nothing big. I mean, gosh, some people have way worse things. But for me, it's, well, I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's no big deal, though. I don't want anybody giving me advice. I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me either. There's nothing to feel sorry for me. I am one of the most blessed people you'll know. All right, let's give these two kids some bathing suits. Right now, I kept it kind of empty. Let's see. I think just simple blue would be nice, and I could always come back. So let's see. The girl's got the girl suit. Here we go. And then up here a little bit that you see behind her arm. And the boy's got a big trunky suit. Big trunky. We've been doing this 20 20 minutes already, and all I got is the kids. Wow. Okay. Well, you gotta start somewhere, right? You always gotta start somewhere. I illustrated a book recently for an author, and he had a lot of beach scenes in his story, and so I had a lot of bathing suit, a lot of practice painting bathing suits. It's a funny thing to be like experienced with. Let's see. See if we can get some color here for some of the shadows on their arms. Okay, so right here is a shadow. Just get some water down. You can always make it darker. Shadow on her, under her neck. The shadow in the front of his face. Excuse me if I don't talk every second of this video. I have to focus a little bit. Like I say, I can always carve it out a little bit with the black or the dark background when I get to the background. There we go. A little bit of a face there for these kids. Like I said, I think that because I'm putting people here, that's the real challenge. Trying to get these. But I don't think this would be as good of a painting if it didn't have the people in it, because I wanted to tell a story somewhat, you know. Robert and I like to watch this show called Outer Banks, And these kids in the Outer Banks, they're always getting in trouble. I don't know why we watch it. It's like, oh man, these kids are getting in trouble all the time. It's funny what you find on TV that you settle in on. When you go places and people will talk, they'll tell you what they watch. It's part of getting old, I guess. I don't remember doing that a whole lot when I was younger. I did watch TV a little bit, but not that much. I feel like I watch more of it now. Yeah, it's probably not necessary. I always think about my parents when they got older. I'd go over to their house and they'd be watching Lawrence Welk. And my mother loved that show, Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, that was one of hers that she liked. My father liked science fiction like that. They had these like robots in the front of the theater. There's robots that were always talking. Oh, look at that blue. It's creeping down now into her leg. I don't want that. I guess it's not too damaging, but I might have to lighten that up. Alright, now let's use some of this dark for her hair. Make sure her face is dry. She's got a little bit of hair going on here. Okay. Make her mouth a little bit darker. Hopefully I don't mess it up too bad. And his eyes also. Little areas here. And then the dock has some lines in it, of course. Gotta do that perspective thing, you know, where they're all pointing toward one dot on the horizon. But I haven't laid that out. I haven't plotted it. I kind of just winging it by, I guess, from experience. Give him a little bit darker hair also. So maybe my thought here, since the fundraiser is for the youth gathering, maybe it sort of makes sense to have two young people. All right, now I gotta wait for them to dry completely. They look like they are dry. All right, now he's got a tube he's carrying, and the tube is dark and reflective. Let's see, and his fingers go here. So his tube is actually obscuring some of her. Keep that white line next to his arm. Okay. Over here, it's coming around. Like I say, obscuring a lot of her. Put some reflective areas on here. There we go, and inside of his body too. The tube can be seen coming over his shoulder here. And making his way around. Here we go. There's his tube. Here we go. Yeah, let's get this reflective a little bit right there. Okay, yeah, she's got her tube also. Her hand is holding the tube here. Her tube goes around. And her hair is reflecting, so let's leave some room for that. And go ahead and try to make fingers here for her. delicate looking area right here. Let's get that in there real easy. And down here, her thigh is all lit, so we keep the white area around it. And she's got a tube. It's got a lot of reflections on it, so the wetter the tube, the more reflective the tube. Alright, see if I can get this looking right. Alright, let me get a little bit more coloring, I think, in them. A little bit more. Alright, there we go. Let's go ahead and add some more darkness to the shadows under their feet. Spread that around. Alright, now let's get some just really dark green. Really, really dark. And put it behind her. Just get that in there. Okay, some real darks here. Now her hair. And her arm, roll it from the side. Okay, super dark over here. But you have a big area of reflectiveness on the edge of the tube. And on the edge of her hair also. And same thing over here with his hair. It's got some light there. Let's get that. Let's try to do the same touch now down here. Yeah, little by little. Little by little. Get it done. Get this green in here. Now see, that's why when you have a little tiny card, you know, it's not so, it's still kind of scary and threatening and all that, but if it was a larger picture, you know, you just got to take your time. I think that's the key, really. Just take your time. You know, let happy accidents happen. You know, don't worry about it completely. Sometimes, you know, and kind of work in a way that you can say to yourself, well, I can fix that. Sometimes you can't fix it, but I've heard people say that watercolor is forgiving because it looks good no matter what. It's not true, though. It's really not true. You can really mess up a watercolor painting, and I'm going to go so far as to say that I'm not doing this one as well as I was hoping I would do it, but I'm just going to keep doing it. Maybe when it's all done, I'll be happy with the results. But for now, just keep working on it, because we got still a way to go here. Kind of want this to be dark here. Put a little bit of a hint of reflection for them. I'm not going to worry about replicating them, but just a little bit of color down here to look like it's their reflections. Okay, let's go back over here, get some more of these darks and lights in here. Some grass growing on the other side of the dock. So most of the rest of this picture is just landscape. But still, I gotta do it right, so let me take a little bit of light blue and put a little bit of blue in that sky. Let's see. Yeah, just spread it out a little bit. And we'll let that dry. Yeah, it's not a winter scene today. It's clearly a summer scene, or at least a warm Florida day scene. Probably happening. If I went down to the river today, October 27th, I would probably find kids doing this very thing. Absolutely, because when I was that age, I did this a lot, you know. So yeah. Get some yellow in there. Some light green, yellow green. Make it look obvious that that's where they are. They're in a place where the water meets the land, and there we go. Now we got the look of green. There we go. That's what we needed, a little bit of green in there. That's what it was missing. Needed some green. After all, if it's going to be a summery kind of a feeling. Yeah, I can always darken it. But to start with light green, I think that's kind of the way to go. Alright, now it's happening. Now it's starting to look, I think, the way I want it to look. Of course, we want these kids in the water. Gives them some water to jump into. Oh yeah, back there. That's the edge. The edge of the river. Yeah, we'll make it all come together. I'm probably going to have to let it dry, I think. Try to get some green in there. Whoa, it just sprayed by itself. Did you see that burst right there? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to actually keep that there because that's probably something I can use. And I might have to come back at this with some green, some white, some gouache. get some more darkness over here. They're going tubing. Going tubing is probably going to be what I call this one. You know, the whole idea of the art auction is to buy art, to sell art, right? And I think because I'm doing greeting cards, people are buying cards that just happen to be art. And so, like, let's say you see this particular card and you know that there's a person on the list of people you give things to that loves to go tubing in the river, or maybe they have this fond memory of when they used to go tubing in the river, kind of like I have, you know, then I think you would get this card, even though it's considered a Christmas card. What do I want to say? A Christmas card auction, in a way. At least my part in it is. I think still, it's really about, because how many times you buy a Christmas gift for somebody, and the gift itself has nothing to do with Christmas, right? You buy a TV for somebody. That doesn't have anything to do with Christmas necessarily. So, all those things. Okay, now I gotta create the illusion of this water being reflective. So you got shadow and reflection because the dock is casting a shadow underneath it. And of course the water is reflecting what's going on above it. There we go. Yeah, I'll probably come back and use some white on there. Right now I just want to create this. How long is the video so far? Oh, it's over an hour. We've been going longer than an hour. Well, if you're watching the whole thing, I appreciate you watching it. I must tell you that you don't have to. I mean, easily you could learn something. But if you just like hanging out, that's kind of cool too. I do that too when I watch other people's videos. Yeah, I just hang out. See what they have to say, or sometimes they don't say anything. I do that some videos. In fact, I feel like I'm doing that more recently. Just kind of painting, and then I forget to talk, or I'm so focused. I think I was more focused on this one during the two people in the video. In the painting. I just want to create that backdrop there, and when that dries, I can add some trees and stuff that would be there. I could probably do a few of that right now. A couple of vertical lines just to make people realize there's trees back there, not just blobs of color. Yeah, sometimes you have to paint the negative, and then it looks positive. All right, let's get some of this yellow in here. Heading to the river with the tubes, going tubing. Alright, let's see if we need to put a little bit more depth over here. Maybe a little bit more darkness on the shadows of their bodies. Not everywhere, just some places. Actually, maybe it's the exact opposite of what I'm thinking. Maybe I need to add some white. That might be the better decision. Alright, let me use the white now. Maybe some touch-ups would be helpful. Just a little bit of white. Seems to be what I do a lot with these paintings. Okay, I think a little bit of illustrating skills, I think, is what needs to happen here. So first I'll work with the water. I see some of this post here could be a little brighter, and then reflecting in the water. Maybe some over here. Some of these little wisps of grass catching the light. And same in the water over here. Not exactly defined what's happening over there. Okay, now I think on her leg, on her tube, she's got more white reflecting off her tube. Maybe on the top of his hair and the side of his arm. this side of his arm, little bits of white, and this top of her arm, a little bit of her chin, this part of her arm, the back of her leg, and the back of his leg. Those little areas of white that make a big difference. The band on his bathing suit, his shorts. Let's see. Her leg. This leg a little bit. And down by her foot. And his tube could have more white reflecting off of it. Going tubing. That's what I'm going to call it. Oh wow, an hour and 20 minutes later, we're still doing it. This is a long one. Well, I challenged myself with this one, and I'm glad I did. It may not be exactly as I envisioned it would be, but it's okay. And I certainly appreciate the fact that you watched this long. I'm going to add a little bit more very fine white areas, I think. I think the top of her foot needs to be white. The top of both of their feet, actually. Top of his arm. Alright, I think I am done. I'm going to spread the colors on the back of the card now. And hopefully it's a good card. I don't know. I don't really know. But it's a break from the winter cards. I was doing so many winter cards and Christmas cards. No, this is Christmas in Florida. Tubing on Christmas Day. Imagine that. I am not kidding. People do go tubing. I've never gone tubing on Christmas Day. I've always wanted to, though. I've always thought that would be something. And of course, days become weeks, become months, become years. Next thing you know, you're an old guy. Or an old lady. Ladies don't like to be called old. But I'm an old guy. It's just a word. Just a word. It could be an attitude also, but I think old is just a word. I say that. Do I mean that, though? Alright, I'm going to let that dry, and I'll be right back. Alright, it's dry now. I think this is a perfect example of why I consider myself an illustrator more than an artist. Because maybe that's not really a work of art, but maybe it's an illustration. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. I will keep it, and I will put it in the collection because somebody might relate to it. Somebody might say, oh, that reminds me of me and my wife, me and my husband, me and my girlfriend, me and my kids. Maybe that's why this is a keeper. But anyway, that it is what it is, as the saying goes. Alright, well, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.